we go. All right, welcome this morning to our Southwest Lay Training Day. Woohoo! So my name is Robin Kelby. I use they, them pronouns, and I am the Southwest District Lay Leader. I am your Southwest District Lay Leader, and I'm just so glad that you all have joined us today, and I hope that we can have a really good session to kind of go over all the different areas that laity are involved in the church, what all's going on, and how we can all grow and be more effective leaders in our congregations. So I'm also going to pause and have Amanda introduce herself.
All righty. Good morning, friends. My name is Amanda Stein. I've met many of you. I'm the district superintendent for Southwest Wisconsin, and we will be growing. I don't know if you can feel that, but we're in an adolescent stage that in a few months, we are going to be losing the North Central District in Wisconsin. Southwest will be growing. Each one of the districts will be getting a little bigger. So we look forward to welcoming some other folks. But really good to see you, and thank you for taking time out today to learn more about how we can serve the church.
All right, and with that, I want to start off with introductions. See, I made a whole slide. So what I'm gonna do is call people out by name. I think that just makes it easier, since I'm sure everybody's all every which way on our screens. If you can talk on the microphone, you can. Otherwise, you can put it in the chat and I'll read it out loud. I just like to know what your name is, what church you belong to, what roles you have in your church. Are you the lay leader? Are you the lay member to annual conference? Are you a lay servant or speaker or minister, or other things you'd like to note that are cool? And finally, I would like you to share one fun fact that cannot be any of the three facts above. So something more fun than what you do in your church, although that is probably very fun in and of itself. So I am going to start by just fleshing out my introduction. So I am a district lay leader, which means I can't be a local church lay leader. But I'm also a lay speaker, and I am involved on my servant leadership board, because we have that accountable board structure. And a fun fact about me is that before this session, I was using my drop spindle to spin yarn, and it's dyeing my hands green. So if my hands look a little weird, that is why. I didn't realize I would be doing that. So I am going to send it over to, let's see, did you say your name was Jody?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I am Jody Thistle. My church is Lodi Methodist Church in Lodi. I'm a reader on some Sundays during the church service. I also help for Wednesday night meals, and I volunteered to do something more for the church, and here I am. The fun fact is that my husband and I have been married for 38 years, and we have 6 children and 10 grandchildren.
All right, well, thank you, Jody. Let's move over to Annette. You may not be there. If you're talking, Annette, we can't hear you.
I think the mic is on mute.
Yeah, I've done the ask to unmute and it hasn't gone through. So let's just move on to Carol Anderson and we'll circle back.
I'm Carol Anderson, a member of the Cobb Church, and I'm the treasurer. And I'm also a lay servant speaker. And the only fun fact is this is only the first Zoom for today. For some reason, I've got several of them.
Okay, it looks like Annette, your mic's on.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm using a different device than I normally use. My name's Annette Lewis. I'm with the Willow Valley Church here in Ithaca, Wisconsin, which is a Richland Center address, not Ithaca. Doesn't have a post office. Roles I play, I am lay leader. I am been a lay member to annual conference, but I always have a conflict because I organized Richland County Dairy Breakfast for 42 years, which is always the same weekend as annual conference. It gets back to Madison. I'm hoping by then I will be retired from my 40-hour-a-week job and can possibly go to annual conference. I do children's sermon every week. I also organize, we provide a meal to the Richland Center Cattle Center, which is a fundraiser for our church every week. So I organize the workers and prepare the meal that we serve and sell to the people at the Cattle Center every Wednesday. Fun fact, I have 2 grown sons and 8 grandchildren, and have always lived here at the Richards compound, which is my family's farm.
Well, that's just delightful, Annette. Thank you so much. Let's go to Say. Is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes, and I was expecting like Psy or C or something.
I actually work
Thank
with
you.
a Psy, so I was like, I bet that's not it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So my name is Say. I attend and a member and am a member of Sherman Church, Sherman Avenue Church here in Madison. So I guess a fun fact is I was born at a Methodist hospital in Ganta, Liberia. It was a church and a compound and like hospitals that were started by a Methodist minister who went way into the rainforest of Liberia to start a church, and that grew into a hospital, nursing school, obviously all the way through 12th grade. And so I was born a Methodist and here I am.
Well, thank you so much, Say. All right, let's go to AJ.
Good morning. I'm Daryl A.J. Foyt, member of the Monona United Methodist Church here in Monona, Wisconsin. My role at the church is, I call it, hey, do you have a minute? Because every time I walk in the church, they always say, hey, do you have a minute to go look at something, do something, fix something, whatever the something might be, which I don't mind because that's what I'm here for. I'm one of the newest conference certified lay ministers. Yay. And a fun fact, as I'm sitting here, I'm looking out my window and my birds are very upset at what's going on with the weather, but I think they like the snow. But I have a little shop and I build bird houses, bird feeders, and anything bird. So I am a friend of the birds. So that I guess would be kind of a fun fact about me. So
Excellent. Let's move over to Eileen Bennett.
Hi. I am Eileen Bennett. I go to Columbus United Methodist Church. My roles are many, but I am the lay member to annual conference. I'm the ad council chair. I'm the missions chair. And I'm also one of 2 Sunday school teachers. So fun fact, really fun that I am the Southwest District United Women in Faith Vice President.
And you do an excellent job at it, may I
Oh,
just
thank you.
in addition to all the other musical chairs that you get to play.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's go over to Robin and Alexis.
Go first, Robin. You're Alexis. I'm not. I'm not Alexis. My name is Robin Seguin. I am with the
Baraboo First United Methodist Church.
yeah. I can never remember exactly the name. I am a lay member to annual conference this year. And a fun fact about me is that I have been drawing since I was like 3. So as soon as I could pick up a pencil, I've been drawing.
Wow, that is impressive. That's super exciting. and glad you're going to annual conference. We always need wonderful young people to engage with that. I got to do that whenever I was in college, and I just fell in love with it. Is this going to be your first time, or have you gone before?
This is gonna be my first time going to it.
Oh man, I'm gonna be so excited to get to see you there. Oh goodness. Let's see. Let's go
And
over
then-
to, let's see, is it
Wait,
Jean
wait.
or- oh
You
yeah,
forgot
sorry.
you got the other person.
That's okay. I'm Alexis. I am with the First United Methodist Church in Baraboo as well. I serve in the church as lay member to annual conference. I'm on the ALB, and we have a Love in Action mission group that I'm part of as well. And fun facts, Daryl, you need to send me some of your bird feeders. I am an avid bird watcher, and I'm frequently distracted by the birds coming to the bird feeders right outside my window. And so I think we may need to get together and talk bird feeders. That's me.
I just love it when our Methodist connection leads to wonderful moments like this. Let's see. How do I pronounce your name? Is it Jean or Jeanne?
Jean.
Jean, okay.
Hi, I'm Jean Massey. I belong to Bethel Methodist Church, which is a rural church out in the country near Mineral Point, Wisconsin. I'm the lay leader, and I share the piano playing duties with another person. Fun fact, I assume you can see me. That's my 1890 swimming suit behind me. And I collect vintage clothing and hats. So that's my passion.
I love that not only is it your passion, but we got to see it. That's just gorgeous. Well, thank you so much. Let's go over to Sarah.
I'm kind of the odd one out. I'm from Northwest Wisconsin. Here I go to the Menominee United Methodist Church, but I wanted to get some more information about being a lay leader, because I'm a new lay leader, and I'm also a lay member to annual conference, and I do some parishioners roles at the church as well. And a fun fact is I've been to church, the camp nurse at Pine Lake Camp. A couple summers, I've done some work there doing that. So thank you.
Well, that is such valuable work. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, everybody moved around, so let's keep on going. Let's see. Let's go to Cheryl. And you're muted. Let me.
Sorry about that. This is my first time I've been on a Zoom or anything related to lay leading. Cheryl Michaels, and I go to Grace United Methodist Church in Belleville. I have roles here and there, but I'm pursuing the lay leadership by the prompting of both God and my pastor. So I'm excited to learn more and get into it. Fun fact, it's not fun. I just can hardly see the screen because my glasses are all messed up right now and I need new ones. So I'm going to be like looking around and trying to figure out what's going on. Plus I'm challenged by technology. So
Well, I'll try to narrate as good as I
Aren't we all?
can. That way you don't have to rely on sight alone.
It'll be fun though.
Thank you so much for joining. I hope you get your glasses figured out soon. That is a terrible position to be in.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. Let's go over to Kevin.
Hello, my name is Kevin Fang. I attend Viroqua United Methodist Church. What roles? I am the current choir director, serve on variety committees, and this is my first year as a lay member to annual conference. So I'm hoping you can tell me everything that I need to know.
I'm going to do my best.
Okay, so that's why I'm here. A fun fact, what I do for fun, my most fun thing is cooking. I enjoy cooking, especially baking bread lately. I have been trying to learn how to make handmade noodles for the past several years and consistently failing, but I will give it another try this spring maybe. So that's fun.
Well, just the fact that you keep trying really matters. All right, let's see. Let's go over to Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura Pfeffer. I'm at Lodi United Methodist Church. I'm the lay leader there. I'm also the Dean of Mission U this year for United Women in Faith. And fun fact, my husband and I, we raise goats. So we've had 3 really bouncy kids this year. They're really fun. They run around and jump on dad, and you know, they're just really cute at that age. So it's a lot of fun.
What do you raise the goats for? I can't remember. Is it for making soap?
No, we eat them.
Okay,
So
okay.
that's not so cute, but you know, the way it is.
Gotta eat somehow. All right, let's go over to Thomas. If you can't talk, feel free to put it in the chat and I can read it out loud.
I can talk. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Okay, good. So I'm Tom Bolton. I'm kind of an interloper. I'm actually in the Southeast District, but I used to be in Janesville, and a lot of my family is kind of in that western area, Whig Church, if you've ever heard of Whig Church, and other places on the farther west. I'm a lay leader at West Allis United Methodist Church, and I teach a lot of classes. I've been a lay servant speaker for a long time and teach some of the lay servant classes sometimes. I do a lot of work with homeless populations, not as much out in the field as I used to because I'm not as mobile as I used to be. But I still do a lot of coordinating and serving meals, and I actually mentor a number of formerly homeless people. I'm finally going to have a grandchild in April, and I'm super excited about that. We've been looking forward to having a real grandchild for a long time. Finally, we're going to have one adopted.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you for all the valuable work you do. And boy, new grandkids are always just very exciting. Let's see. Let's go over to Deanna.
I'm Deanna Rowan from the Blue River Church. According to Amanda at Charge Conference, I'm now the lay leader for our church. Don't know how that happened other than I'm the most computer literate at my church since I do all of our tech stuff. I'm also a trustee and fill in with whatever else I'm asked to do. Fun fact, I guess it'd have to be that I do like counter cross stitch, embroidery, quilting, that kind of stuff.
It's a beautiful art form. Let's see. Let's go over to Steve.
Yes, good morning. My name is Steve Norton. I'm with North Windsor Methodist Church in DeForest. I'm currently the treasurer, have been for a couple of years now, and I'm looking to become a lay servant. So I'm excited to hear information about that and the classes. Fun facts, well, retired, 4 grandchildren and 1 on the way. So that's keeping us busy.
Definitely, we will provide some information about that because boy, there's a lot of different lay roles, and I'm so excited that we have so many different lay roles represented here today. That's just great. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. I still need Jeff. Are you there, Jeff? I see you're unmuted. Well, we'll circle back to Jeff. Bonnie?
Hey everybody, I'm Bonnie Jones, and like Annette, I am at Willow Valley Methodist Church in Ithaca. Like Steve and Carol, I'm the treasurer for Willow Valley, so that is my role at that church. I also, Tom, I may be more of an interloper than you are. I actually spend half my time in Texas and half my time in Wisconsin. And so in Texas, I go to a church in Houston, and I am on their SPRC. I sing in the choir. I teach a Zoom Sunday school class. For a few years, I've been taking some classes from Wesley Theological Seminary with a lot of folks like you, certified lay speakers and certified lay ministers, not taking the classes out of any interest in becoming that myself, just because I just always want to know more. I always want to be learning more and have a deeper understanding of what I'm studying in the Bible and even of the United Methodist faith. I also do a prison ministry, and that is kind of it's prison ministry through correspondence Bible studies. And that's something I've been doing for the last 3 years. Fun fact is, I'll use Jody's thing of using an anecdote about my husband. My husband I met 19 years ago through speed dating, actually. So Annette, don't tell anybody.
I won't.
That's beautiful, Bonnie. And then finally, I think the last person is Norsk.
Hi, my name is Marge Caton. I belong to First United Methodist Church of West.
Of where?
And can do anything I want at any time, which I enjoy thoroughly.
Sorry, you cut out there for a bit. Could you just say where you're from again?
First United Methodist Church of West Dallas.
Okay.
And I'm the lay member to the annual conference and also the chair of the Memorial Committee on SPRC. And I'm retired and enjoy doing anything I want at any time.
Excellent. Isn't that the dream?
Right.
So thank you all so much. I'm really excited to get to talk with you today. I think this is going to be a really fun session. And I kind of designed it to be able to talk to people that do a bunch of different things, because the hardest thing is that a lot of these roles have lay in front of them, and it's hard to keep track of who is doing what, especially whenever people may wear multiple hats. You may be both the lay leader and the lay member. You may be a lay leader and a lay servant, and it's all very different. So part of this is just trying to keep all this stuff straight. The other part is talking about how we can grow as leaders, and if there's any particular challenges or opportunities or things that you want to talk about with a wider group. So with that, I am going to invite Amanda to give us an opening prayer, because she's good at that.
All right, I will, but I just heard from about 20 awesome lay people who I know can pray, but I'll do it. I'll do it. Let us pray. Dear God, thank you for the gift of the far reaches of United Methodism, our history, our tradition, our people, our communities, and a beautiful state of Wisconsin. This gift that we have today, let us use it, be blessed by it, learn and listen, and buoy each other up in spirit. We particularly pray for Thomas as he's going through his procedure today, and just for any of us who are going through our own personal health or other struggles. May this time be one where we feel loved, encouraged, and brought into spirit with you. Bless us during this time. We give you thanks for Robin and Robin's leadership, and encourage us in this day, Holy God. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you, Amanda. All right, so let's start off by talking about lay leaders, because it sounds like we have some people that are relatively new to the role. So the job of a lay leader is to link their local church to the community around them as the primary lay representative of the laity in the local church. And if you want to go to the Book of Discipline, you go to paragraph 251.1, which has the requirements and responsibilities of lay leaders. I could read the discipline to you, but I feel like that would not necessarily be the most helpful. I did that last year and I don't feel like doing it again. So in the resources that I'll have more of the specific stuff, but I'm curious if any of you have a definition of what you found it means to be a lay leader in your own ministry. Well, I can give an example of what I have found as being a district lay leader, which, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just that instead of the local church, it's more looking at the district and relating to the district superintendent like I would to a local pastor. What I've found is that being able to be a way of getting people connected, getting people the information they need so that they can be more effective in their ministry is something that I really enjoy, because not everybody can keep track of all the things, but if you know who you can send people to talk to or where they can get more information, it really helps. Are there any other thoughts about the basic, what is a lay leader, before we move on?
Well, excuse me, I'm just a new, they've asked me to be the representative for our local church, the lay member to the annual conference.
That's the next
Excuse
slide.
me. So I've never done it before, never been to the conference, so I'm open for anything you want to tell me.
Well, then let's move on to this slide. So what does it mean to be a lay member to annual conference? And really in the same way that a lay leader is looking to connect their local church, a lay member is looking to connect their local church to the annual conference and the church beyond your local church's walls. And if you want to go to the discipline, you would go to paragraph 251.2, which has all of the requirements and responsibilities of the lay member to annual conference. And there's also a different paragraph that mentions lay members as well as how they participate in the annual conference. So I would say that the most important thing for a lay member is that there's really figuring out, how do you condense all of this information and make it understandable to somebody that may not follow all of the email newsletters or keep up to date on what's going on across the conference. Like, how can you make that digestible? And not only make it digestible, but be able to get people excited about the work that's being done outside the local church. What is encouraging? What is challenging? What are the things that people need to know so that they can feel like they're part of a broader connection? Because that's something that is a real strength of Methodism, is our ways that we connect across geographic distances, across church boundaries. So is that a decent introduction to the lay member role? All right. Is there anybody else that wants to speak to what the experience is like to be a lay member to annual conference? All right. So in terms of what I find valuable, I've been going to annual conference since 2018, although I came out of the West Virginia conference. So I went there for 3 years before I transferred here to Wisconsin whenever I moved. And I've been going to Wisconsin's annual conference ever since. And what I always really find valuable is that there's a lot that happens at conference. There's a lot of reports. There's a lot of stuff we vote on. Usually those are resolutions and other action items. There's also really amazing worship services. And I always appreciate that there's opportunities for mission. There's going to be the in-gathering for Midwest Mission, so that's a way that you can get your whole church involved if they want to help pack the truck, which they have sometimes in the past had so much that the truck is very full, if not overflowing. So there's a lot of stuff that is boring business meeting, but there's a lot of stuff beyond that that makes it something that I go to it every year because I really enjoy it. And because I'm a district lay leader, I can no longer represent my church. So I've also really enjoyed getting people at my own church excited so that they can be lay members and be able to have that experience as well. Because the biggest thing for me is that I don't want to just like, do it and then other people don't have to think about it. I want to get people as engaged and excited as I can. So you may be thinking, lay leader, lay member, well, how are they related? Because they're very similar. They are both very connectional of connecting the church to the broader community and the world. And one person can do both. And it's actually encouraged by the Book of Discipline for it to be one person. Although, why not spread the love around and be able to share it with more people? So really, when you think about a lay member, they're focused on connecting to church structures. That's going to be the district. Like today, we're having a district meeting, but it can also be through the annual conference or the conference in general. We have some people from outside of our district here today, and that is great. And that can also be even beyond our state, things like the jurisdictional conference, which is our region of the US, and the general conference, which is everybody in the world. It's very exciting. And we're going to be having one in a few weeks, which we have needed one for so long. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what all develops, as it's been a rough couple of years for our church and our world. And the lay leader has, a lot of similar focus, but they're really more looking at their local church and how they can develop and advocate for their leadership in the local church. Not to say that they should be only focused on their own people, but they are really meant to be kind of that primary contact point of if somebody has the pulse of a congregation, it's going to be the lay leader, and they would be a person that you can go to with questions or concerns or other things that may need to be brought to other groups or to other people or the pastor, but they can also be really instrumental in that whole communication. And if they aren't the same person, then you at least need to be able to collaborate, because there's a lot of information that the lay leader might find useful from the lay member and vice versa. So that's kind of how those two roles are related. Are there any questions about how that works at the local level? Let's see, I'm scrolling through. All right, let's keep on going. So then you might be thinking, wait, then what's a lay servant? Because we like to just throw lay on top of everything. So if it wasn't hard enough to keep the lay leaders straight from the lay members, there are also lay servants and lay speakers, and now lay ministers. Oh my! As we are so excited to celebrate AJ's ministry, you added another bucket onto the equation, man. So essentially, to go over what each of those three roles are, we have certified lay servants, who are laity who undergo training to become more effective in communication, leadership, and caring ministries. And if you turn in your Book of Discipline to paragraph 266, it defines the responsibilities, training, and certification process for certified lay servants. Then the next step up is there are certified lay speakers. And the next paragraph in the discipline, a certified lay speaker is somebody who was a certified lay servant, took more classes, got certified, and they serve by preaching the word when requested by their pastor, district superintendent, or committee on lay servant ministries. So you might get contacted by the district office or Amanda or your pastor to be like, hey, can you fill in for me? Or I got a call recently, can you fill in at one of our churches? And it's really valuable to be able to have folks that can cover whenever a pastor gets sick, or maybe they're transitioning between pastors, or other things come up. So having that flexibility is really important. And then finally, a certified lay minister is a certified lay speaker or a certified lay missioner, which lay missioners, again, another lay thing, but a lay missioner is specific to our Hispanic ministries. So if you don't know what that is, probably okay, not really needing to be too well versed in it. And essentially they're a lay speaker that takes even more classes and is called to congregational leadership as part of a ministry team under the supervision of the clergy. So essentially, a certified lay minister is not going to be a pastor of a local church. They are not going to be off on their own doing ministry, but they are going to be working with the other clergy and lay people around them to be a real leader in their church and be able to take that kind of to the next level of responsibility and accountability. And a lot of that structure takes place at the district level as well as at the conference level. In order for AJ to become certified as a lay minister, he had to work with our district committee on ordained ministries, which oversees a lot of the, requirements of this program. And then the final approval has to come from our conference board of laity, which as the district lay leader, I get to sit on and got to vote for AJ. And they basically are the ones that maintain the list of people who are undergoing certification to be a lay minister and give that final stamp of approval. So with all of that said, is there anybody that wants to kind of elaborate more on what each of these roles are? I think that AJ, if you wouldn't mind talking about the experience of going through the certified lay minister classes, that'd be great.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew it. I knew it. No, it's okay. As a matter of fact, if you like, I can put in the comments section. I can put my email in there if anybody afterwards has any questions that they are maybe a little too chicken to ask in front of the group here. You are more than welcome to reach out to me, and I can share with you my 2+ year journey that started literally, hey, I'm kind of interested in being a lay servant. And where can I take a class? And it started with going to Cudahy United Methodist Church with Nan Owens. And if you don't know Nan, you should get to know her. She's quite the character, but she was my first mentor. So I ended up taking all the classes, which are 7. And last year, and I went a little pitch for annual conference. For those of you that are going for the first time, you are going to leave on Monday going, I should have done this a long time ago. You will walk out of there just going, wow, now I really have a very good understanding of how the Wisconsin Conference works and how things are decided and voted upon. It was last year, I walked away going, I should have done this a long time ago. And then you take a bunch of classes. Then I took to become my education for certified lay minister was through Be a Disciple. There was 19 of us throughout the United States that jumped on. There's 4 modules that you do. You develop your ministry, and as Robin mentioned, you submit it to the DCOM, which is the District Committee of Ministry. We put together pretty much a paper, and we could spend hours just talking about what I do and how it works, but it's been an incredible journey. My recommendation is there is a packet now that is available, and I'm sure you're going to share that, Rob. It tells you everything and anything you want to know. It's got charts on it. It is really, really well done by that team. It really answers a lot of questions I had a couple years ago that when it wasn't available, but it is available now, that tells you how the whole lay journey works and what you can do. So I think that's my Chris Berman's 90-second Sports Center version of certified lay ministry. So,
well, boy, go team. Thank you so much, AJ. I can speak to certified lay speaker, but if anybody would like to talk about that, I'm actually going to be showing our resources that are on the ladies part of our conference website. So you'll have that link in just a bit, Robin and Alexis. I also want to call out that Eileen let's see, oh, be a disciple, or
I was saying that the lay leader and I are both on SPRC. I believe that's required too, but we work really well together. We have a
Yeah.
great lay leader.
Yeah, it's really important to be able to take that together, and I appreciate you highlighting that. So let's see. I'm gonna switch over to the next slide. So for the next segment, I kind of want to talk through, like, there's a lot of different roles, there's a lot of different like ways that you can be doing ministry, but what are some of the overall like skills that you need to learn how to develop as each of these roles? And there's a lot of overlap, so I just kind of put them all together on the slide, and whenever there's call outs for a specific role, then I put them in here. So if we're thinking about leadership skills, one of the first ones that comes to my mind is advocacy. So a lay leader needs to represent the needs of both their local church and their community, and really keep the structures of the church focused on our mission. Because whenever we get away from that mission of making disciples and making sure that we are caring for the people in our local context, then we're not doing what we need to be doing. So a lay leader can be a really good advocate for making sure that the main thing stays the main thing. And in a similar vein, lay members are elected from their local congregation, but they ultimately vote as individuals. And they have a responsibility to earnestly consider the resolutions and reports before the body and be informed about the impacts that these actions may have. Like, is this going to be something that is going to have implications for the local church? What do we think about that? Are there things that may need to be amended, or things that we haven't thought as deeply about as we need to? Another thing that I really value is the nurturing part of both of these roles. United Methodism has historically been the strongest when its laity are empowered to do the work of the church, because, sorry, Amanda, but clergy can't carry the whole church themselves. And I feel like you'd probably agree. We also need to cultivate relationships so that laity can feel comfortable discussing their hopes and dreams and concerns as you fill these roles. And specifically for lay members, like, encourage the people of your church to take an interest in what goes on at annual conference through your report to the congregation. Help to spark their curiosity so that they feel like this isn't something that somebody else only does, or like they aren't open to also being able to attend. Something that I also really admire is the ability to be a role model. You can demonstrate your faith and integrity as a follower of Jesus Christ to the people around you through the ways that you fulfill this role. Try to be the kind of leader that, you wanted to see whenever you were learning how to do these sorts of things. As well as discipleship, like, inspire the people around you to continue to improve yourselves as, people of God. There's a really good acronym that you can use to remember the basic process of making disciples. They're hospitality, offer Christ, which I guess that's 2 letters, but okay. Purpose and engagement. This is something that our like national lay leader training really focuses on, because whenever you're hospitable, you're able to feel like the doors are open, as opposed to something that is, not transparent, not easy for people to be able to access. Offering Christ should always be the main thing that we need to do. How do we offer Christ? Through our actions, through the work that we do. Keeping an eye on our purpose, and finally, engagement, making sure that what we do is something that can be understood by others, can be visible to others, and allowing other people to be able to comment or give their perspective, so that we can have a more full view of what needs to be done. In terms of other leadership skills, communication is a really big one. Learning how to effectively express yourself in meetings, worship, and conversations with individuals and groups. This includes active listening, and not just speaking over people. That's something that I sometimes struggle with. And the other side of that coin is having the courage to speak up in a crowded room. Use your voice to lift up what matters in your context. And for lay members, as a lay member at annual conference, you have voice and vote, which means that in addition to being able to vote, you are also able to speak for or against motions before the body. You can make amendments. You can do other actions. So be prepared to have the courage to speak up if you feel led in a room of hundreds. And finally, there's also service. Both of these roles are servant leaders, and they require being active in and connected to the ministries of your local church. You can't be everywhere at once, but you should have relationships with all the different ministries of the church, like Sunday school classes, youth groups, women and men's groups, Bible studies, food pantries, etc. And keep those ministries in mind as we move our local churches forward, but also for lay members as we go through the business of annual conference. What is the effect going to be on our youth groups, depending on, different actions that are being taken or resolutions that are brought forward? And study is also super important. Continuing education is something that both roles can focus on, but especially for lay leaders, it helps us avoid stagnating on our journey of faith. It doesn't have to be your most important focus, but it can be a way that you can demonstrate that you're going on to perfection with God's help. And for lay members, annual conference takes a ton of preparation. If you are employed or otherwise have regular commitments, you got to make sure you make arrangements as soon as possible so that you can attend all of conference, which is Friday through Sunday with an optional training day on Monday. You're highly encouraged to attend it, but if, like me, you work during the day, it'll also be recorded so that if you just want to watch it later, you can still engage with the material. The laity session will be held before conference, and the pre-conference workbook and all the materials, like all the resolutions and reports and all that stuff, will be available several weeks ahead of time. So it's also good to develop a general knowledge of the Book of Discipline. You don't need to memorize everything. Do not do that, but at least have a rough idea of where stuff is in it, and it would be good to have a copy available for reference for whenever people throw out those lovely paragraph numbers. So, with all of that said, are there any questions or comments about kind of these leadership skills or any other leadership skills that you would add? All right, keeping on it going. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is really thinking through that lay leader and pastor relationship. It's important for lay members as well, but kind of the definition of a lay leader is having a lay equivalent to a pastor, somebody who is able to be really involved in the life of the church and able to advise on church matters, especially as pastors move around and have a lot of stuff that they got to keep track of. So lay leaders should cultivate a relationship with their pastor that goes beyond just their personal faith journey. And it really works best whenever they have an ear for their pastor and can bring that lay perspective to church decisions. And that involves having to figure out the best way to communicate. For instance, me and Amanda, we talk a lot over email. Sometimes we schedule Zoom calls. whenever there are specific things that come up, or just to kind of check in on what's going on. You can meet up for coffee, whatever makes sense. Just having time set out so that you can be able to go over what needs to be gone over, communicate anything that really needs to be brought before the pastor, and making sure that you're not just a lay leader in name only. So district lay leaders and conference lay leaders do the exact same thing. I do it for a district superintendent, and our conference lay leader, Ben Bansell, does it for our bishop. So are there any tips or tricks that you all have found for communicating well with your pastor?
I would offer something.
Go for it.
Yeah, so for me, being prayerful and attentive to it are really important parts of that communication piece with the pastor, and having regular communication and talking to each other regularly are very important parts of it, I think.
Definitely. It's something that could be easy to put off, but the more you put it off, then there's the more to talk about, and it keeps piling up. So thank you so much for sharing that. So the next thing I wanted to do before we move more into like just an open forum style of thing is taking a look at our conference website for lay servant ministries and just lay stuff in general, so that you can get acquainted with all those resources for whenever you get the inevitable questions of, well, what the heck's a lay servant? What's the difference between that and a lay speaker? We have it all laid out on our website to try to make it a lot easier to understand. So let me stop my share and then switch over my share. And let's see, there it is. So what we have here is, if you go to www.wisconsinumc.org, that is our conference website. And inside there, we have a nice laity drop down with a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to start by looking at our lay servant ministries, and then I'll just go to lay stuff in general. So the cool thing is that through this website, we have pages for specific to lay servant, specific to lay speaker, specific to certified lay minister, as well as some pages for upcoming classes and how to teach classes. So from here, you can go to the lay servant page, and you can see a whole bunch of frequently asked questions like, who can become a certified lay servant? Well, they're a professing member of a local church or charged. And there's also ones for like, how does a certified lay servant serve? What's the process of becoming certified as a lay servant? So you first have to have the recommendation of your pastor, a recommendation from the church council or charge conference of your local church or whatever United Methodist ministry where you hold membership. You have to take the basic introductory course, and then just one of the approved lay servant ministries advanced courses. So there's just one basic course, but there's a whole bunch of advanced courses, and they offer a lot of opportunities to be able to learn. And so then once you get all this stuff together, then you submit a report that goes before the district committee on lay servant ministries or equivalent structure, and then you're able to be recognized. So for each of the different roles, we have either guidelines or questions like that to be able to keep it straight. Because, for instance, a certified lay servant just takes the basic class and one advanced class, but to become a lay speaker, you have to take 6 specific advanced courses, and then not only go through the whole submitting a report thing, but you also have to be interviewed and recommended by the district committee on lay servant ministries or equivalent structure, and then you're finally able to be approved and get your certificate sent out. So this lays it out as plainly as it can. Most of it's pulled just, straight from the discipline. But if you have any questions, you can point people to these pages. And as AJ mentioned, we have a lovely new page that has the Certified Lay Ministry Guidelines, which is a huge document with all kinds of information. It's super great, and it is designed especially for the Wisconsin conference with exactly how it works here. We had not implemented the Certified Lay Ministry program in our conference for a number of years, and this just went live at the beginning of this year. So it is very new. It's very exciting, and we're really glad that we can be able to offer this for people to be able to grow their leadership. And in terms of where you take the classes, this is the link to Be a Disciple. So what's really great about Be a Disciple is that they offer all of the modules, which are these 4 classes here. There's a bunch of dates, but you can also take the Lay Servant advanced courses through here as well. So, whoop, I meant to, come on, there we go. So whenever you go to under the certification and CEUs to Certified Lay Servant Ministries, then you're able to see the advanced courses that are available. So you can see that there's a whole bunch of ones. So if you wanted to do all of the advanced courses to become a lay speaker, they are all on here. The basic is not. You still have to do that either in person or locally, like on Zoom through our conference or something like that. But what I also really appreciate, I can't remember who said it, but I really appreciated that you said it, taking lay servant ministry classes, even though you don't want to get certified. What's really great is that there are a bunch of lay servant classes that go beyond just the 6 you need for being a certified lay speaker. And they have such interesting ones on here as Biblical Storytelling 1 and 2. If you need even more biblical storytelling, they have Devotional Life in the Wesleyan Tradition. I really enjoyed this one. They have a lot of ones for different age groups. So how to teach adults, how to work with people that are aging. I think there's also ones for youth ministry, stuff like that. So there's a lot of really good resources on here if you just want to be able to keep learning and growing in a bunch of different areas. They also have, if you just look at their regular course list, there's also a bunch of classes that don't fall under the Lay Servant Ministries affiliation. So for instance, this Wesley Academy for Advanced Christian Studies, that's not us. That would not count as an advanced class, but there's a lot of interesting classes that if you're interested in, why not? So like if you wanted to journey through the Psalms, for instance.
Yeah, this is Bonnie. Those were the ones I was taking, is the Wesley Academy studies, because those are just great fun.
Yeah, so if you would like some great fun, then I highly suggest it. I've taken a lot of Be a Disciple courses and I found them to be really high quality and really good material. And a lot of them are like discussion board based. Some of them have like Zoom sessions that they do. But most of the time you just have to make sure you do your discussion posts on the day when you need to, and make sure you're responding to other people, and then you're good. So if you're wondering where in the Wisconsin conference you can take these classes, then we have a webpage for upcoming trainings. Assuming it ever loads. There we go. So there's essentially this list will get updated off of the conference calendar. So as you keep checking it, it'll keep pulling in what's going on. So if we're looking at, different courses being offered, it looks like there's a bunch in the Metro Milwaukee area, good for the Southeast District. This Lay Servant Social at Cudahy, that is what Nan works on. And I really encourage you, if you're interested in being a lay servant, or if you just want to talk to other people that are lay servants, really encourage you to go to that. And yeah, there's just a lot of classes out of Milwaukee. Oh my gosh, good for them. And as we look to offer classes in our district, they will show up on here as well as through targeted emails and such. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I encourage you to bookmark this page and come back to it to be able to see all of that. And if you would like to encourage your pastor, or if you're interested in potentially planning a course, there's also a webpage for how the heck that works. And we even taught a class previously on how that works, and you can watch the meeting recording here. I got to work on that with some of our district directors of lay servant ministries who administer this program at the district level. In the Southwest District, we've had a vacancy in our district director position for a couple of years now, which is not great. I've been trying to do some filling in, but it is more than one person can handle. So I'm currently working on building a team of laity and clergy to be able to administer this program in our district. So if that would be something that you'd be interested in, is helping us to help plan classes, get people certificates, keep track of who is and isn't a lay servant or a lay speaker or a lay minister, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'd love to talk to you about opportunities for that. Currently, we have on the team myself, Chris Erickson from Wanakee, and Corey Daniels from, shoot, I can't remember our church's name. It's farther south in the district, and we're open to plenty more folks.
It's Oakley.
Oakley! Ah, man, it's 3 miles from the Illinois border, and I can remember that, but I couldn't remember the name. Thank you. I've even preached there. I feel very sad. So we're also potentially going to be getting different folks moved around in our district realignment. So that's going to be its own challenge that the whole conference is going to be facing, because we might have some folks coming in from the North Central District, or maybe even the Southeast District, as well as people just, move around in general. So it's going to definitely be a challenge to keep track of all of that. Are there any, let's see, before I ask for questions, the other parts of this website that are really great is if you just go to our laity page, there is a lot of really good resources that you can use yourself or you can point people to. If you're looking for who you can talk to on our conference board of laity, if you got some concerns, you want to figure out who is yours, then you can go to this CBOL leadership page and you can see all the lovely faces of all the people that we get to work with. And we keep this page up to date with people's names and email addresses so you can know who to talk to. And we also have a page for upcoming laity trainings, which pulls from the lay servant list, but also will contain things like our laity convo event that happens every year, and other sorts of things like that. Let's see. And then if you have any other resources that you want to go to get more connected in, I would highly encourage both our lay leaders and our lay members to take a look at this laity resources page. Sign up for the newsletter. It's great. There's also a lot of really good stuff through the Upper Room, Discipleship Ministries, all that good stuff. So now, are there any questions that you have about our website or where to access some of this information? All right. Well, I got to work a lot on the website, and I think that it's in a pretty good spot for being able to provide information, and feel free to pass it on to anybody that could benefit. All right. Let's see. I need to go back to...
Robin, can I jump in while you're digging around?
Yeah, I forget how to make the floating controls come back. Just a second. Go, Amanda.
Okay. I just wanted to say I had a great question about well, I'll throw in one other lay term, and that's lay supply. So that one is for us as district superintendents working with the staff parish committees and our cabinet, that lay supply, because we have become so stretched on our clergy being able to fill the pulpits. Years ago, you know, we all held elders, and then more and more over the years, we've been able to benefit from licensed local pastors. And now, again, because we're shrinking in the number of folks who are qualified or licensed, we also now have something called lay supply, where if your congregation doesn't have someone that the cabinet can appoint immediately, we do have lay persons that the cabinet says, well, you know, we appreciate you offering and willing to do this. If you'll please fill the pulpit for a particular period of time for us, and we'll try and support you until we can get you going in the process towards becoming licensing. So if you ever hear about that terminology, lay supply, it's to supply the pulpit. And I don't know, that's just old United Methodist lingo, but that's what that's about.
Well, thank you for that. Yet another instance of throwing lay on top of things. All right, let me start up my screen share with my PowerPoint again. So I threw a couple of discussion questions on here, but really this is the portion that, you know, if you have specific questions, if you want to throw out any other comments, this is your time. Because I think that it's really important to be able to talk to people that are, you know, in a similar phase of figuring out what it means to be in ministry. So is there anything that surprises you about the different laity roles? Is there anything that you just haven't really thought about as part of being a lay leader or lay member?
I'm looking for more specifics about the lay leader. I get the understanding, my pastor and I meet once a month and we talk about what's going on, and yet it's like, am I looking at how she works with the other staff? Do I try to get more people becoming leaders in the congregation? Am I getting information from the community and passing that to members? I guess I'm, you know, right now it feels like I'm mainly supporting her in what she does as her role. And then I hear some things from the congregation, I'm looking for some specific examples of what other people have done.
Definitely. I would say that it's kind of a mix of all those things. It sounds like you got more of that pastoral support and relationship down. But yeah, a big part is that figuring out how to do leadership development in your local church. How to identify that, oh, this person would be a really good fit for this role, or, you know, maybe people that have been overlooked for potentially filling roles. As part of being a lay leader, you're basically supposed to be on all the committees. So the SPRC committee, the administrative council, the nominations, and that goes for the lay member as well, because you need to be really plugged into what your local church does in order to be able to, you know, be working on their behalf. So part of that's going to be identifying, like, you know, are there people that could really use somebody to come alongside, maybe not to take over their position, but to be able to learn more, so that there's not just one person that runs the food pantry, for instance, and knows exactly how that works. Are there people that would really benefit from being connected to things like classes for lay leadership? Like, you know, if there's a group that does pastoral care in your church, would it be helpful if they took maybe the lay servant class on pastoral care, or get connected to other resources and things like that? Let's see. Oh, there's a chat that came in. Oh, thank you so much, Amanda. Amanda has posted the guidelines, which is basically there's a lot of cute little books for different roles in the church, and there is one for the lay leader and lay member. And this is what my class is adapted from, is from these guidelines, because there's a lot of really good stuff in them. And there's a link to get that booklet, and there's ones for a whole bunch of other roles in your church as well, like for finance, for being a trustee, for all those other kind of real basic church roles. And I'm trying to think if there's any other examples that I have, but pretty much it's not only being connected to all the different areas of the church, but learning how you can be that link and that connection to really get the right people talking with each other that need to make sure that people aren't like making decisions in a vacuum or without considering other groups. Are there other people that would really like to dive in on how they do their ministry as a lay leader?
I think one of the things that you have to look at is the size of the congregation, because with a small congregation, you're going to function very differently than if it's a relatively a mid-size or a larger congregation, because often with your smaller congregations, it's the type of thing that probably most everyone is involved in order to even make it work. And so some of these kinds of roles really morph into one another rather than being distinct.
Definitely. And that's the challenge, is whenever people are wearing multiple hats, what are the hats that really shouldn't be worn together versus the ones that it's not ideal, but it can be. And that's something that you can work with your pastor, your district superintendent with as well, if you're trying to figure out, okay, how does this work whenever there's only so much of us in the congregation? And yes, you can get a whole set of all the booklets if you want to get the complete package and be able to outfit your whole church. And that's something that you can pass those books along as people transition through the different roles. So as you get a new treasurer, yeah. And yes, go ahead, Robin and Alexis.
As a lay member, what can I do in the future to, well, say I want to help progress forward the church in like being more accepting of people and stuff like that, reconciling ministries, and what can I do in the future? Like, what would be my path to be able to do more about that?
Yeah, I think that's one of those questions that there's a lot of different things that you can do. One of the biggest things is being able to connect with the different parts of the church outside of your local church. So for instance, Reconciling Ministries Network, you can look at the list of churches that are reconciling. You can look at the different things that maybe churches that aren't reconciling but are working on that path are also doing. I know there's a lot of trainings that organization does specifically. The other thing is mentorship. That's something that I've really been striving for in the time that I've been a district lay leader. And I think that it's really important to be able to have people of a variety of different backgrounds, of different ages, involved in things. And the biggest thing is, like, you're a lay member, which means that you have just as much right to make your vote and use your voice as anybody in that room. And it is really, it's really something that I've appreciated about the Wisconsin conference, that I haven't gotten a lot of guff for my age or being me, which is something that not all conferences can say. Let's just say from personal experience. And I think that, if you're looking for that kind of stuff, I would be happy to be one of the people for you. I think that it's really important to be able to, see people doing what you want to be doing. The other thing is that I'm not sure if Ben has mentioned this to Amanda yet, but because of this district realignment, which when I say district realignment, everybody knows what I mean by that. Does anybody have any confusion over that? Because I want to address that first. Okay, so by district realignment, we mean going from 5 districts to 4 districts, which means our districts therefore having to get bigger. And something that the Conference Board of Laity is looking to do is to take the district lay leader role and have multiple per district. So instead of just me or just one person per district, we want to have 2 people per district, which means we need to start looking for an additional district lay leader for our district. As part of this, other districts are also going to be shifting around their leadership. There's some people that have been district lay leaders for like 12 years. And in the same way that a local church, having somebody serve in one leadership position for a really long time cannot be great. At the same way, we want to make sure that our conference Board of Laity can also have some people of different perspectives, different backgrounds, and not just the same folks every single time. So we also want to take the opportunity to have a lot more diversity on our conference Board of Laity, because as it has been noted, we are awfully pale. And that really doesn't reflect the diversity of, who is in our conference, who is in leadership. And that is something that we really want to make sure that, we're reflecting that. So if there are talented laity that you know of that you think would really fit well at a district lay leader kind of role, or just you think would be really great in district leadership in general, like we could use anybody. We would really love to, talk to you about that, because there's really a push for making sure that the people that are in leadership reflect the full diversity and makeup of the people that are here. So that's going to be something that is going to be, an interesting search for me and Amanda and our conference leadership, as well as we look to make sure that we are expanding this and figuring out how that works.
Your second bullet point, is there anything that surprises me about the laity role? One thing that surprises me, I had the impression when I was approached for being lay member to annual conference, that being the lay member to annual conference meant prepare for and attend a meeting and give a report afterwards, and that's it. But it sounds like there's more to it. I'm wondering, would other current and former lay members to annual conference be willing to share some of the ways that you have connected, worked to connect the your local church to the wider church?
I can speak to that. Part of what I have done whenever I was serving as just a lay member to annual conference is figuring out how I can be sharing news from the conference, not just whenever I give my report, but throughout the year as we prepare for things. Like whenever the workbook comes out, then I can start to talk about, okay, like these are some of the things we're going to be talking about. Do you have any opinions or insight that would be really useful whenever I'm trying to figure out how to vote? Are there upcoming things that are going to really impact our church? Like, for instance, with this district realignment, like start talking to your congregation now about what that's going to mean, that that there's going to be a shift going around. There's going to be potentially just a lot of people figuring stuff out. So the conference office might take a little bit longer to respond to stuff if they're trying to get all this stuff together. I also really appreciate being able to prepare them for things like, for instance, there's going to be an in-gathering of supplies. So does your congregation have a desire to contribute to that, or have they been contributing to that? Things like that. I have some additional resources for lay members. The guidelines are also really good. And in those guidelines, it really has laid out like all the, almost like a checklist of like how to prepare for annual conference, how to go through that cycle. And then for the rest of the year, pretty much just thinking about like, how do I stay informed so that whenever I'm preparing for annual conference, I'm familiar with what my church's concerns would be. Does that make sense? Yay, I see that thumbs up. I love to see a thumbs up.
It seems to me the end gathering can be a very valuable tool because that's a time when everyone can be actively engaged by contributing in some particular way. And then I think also making sure that the congregation knows
Let's see, I think I just cut out for a little bit. Let's see. So, yes, I appreciate what Amanda is putting in the chat. All of what Amanda is putting in the chat. I think that having a pre-conference, taking the packet and going through it would be really great. And that is actually something that I have on my my survey that's I'm going to send out at the end of the session. If you're interested in having like lay leader meetups to talk about stuff, if you're interested in lay member meetups or just a pre-conference session to figure things out, or for lay servants and lay speakers, I would be happy to set up and facilitate those. I think that that is a really great way of being able to connect to what other people are doing and not just feeling like you're all alone in your local church and you don't know who to turn to. Because yeah, whenever you get the packet of information about conference, it is a lot to digest. There's a lot to consider. And some of the stuff gets voted on every year. So if this is your first time, you might not really know like what the things are that are boilerplate versus the things that we need to pay more close attention to or are going to be different, if that makes any kind of sense. Mm-hmm. So that sounds great, Amanda. Let's see. So in terms of time, we have about half an hour, and I'm pretty much through all the material that I had. So does anybody have any additional questions or stuff they want to talk through? I really appreciate all of your, oh, I see Jody.
Yes, I'm wondering, when is annual conference and where?
Well, I can give you the where first because it's going to be in Green Bay. This is actually the last year for a while that it's going to be in Green Bay because next year it's going to be in Middleton, which means that it is going to be significantly easier for a lot of us Southwesters to be able to go to it. In terms of the dates, I want to make sure I give you the right dates. The dates are June 7th, which is a Friday, through the 9th, which is a Sunday. And then the extra learning day is on Monday, the 10th. That is not required, but it is highly encouraged and it will be recorded if you can't make it or work like I do. And I am super excited to be able to go. I think it's going to be a really great time. So then, in terms of other things to prepare for annual conference, if you haven't signed up, please make sure you do. If you haven't gotten your hotels figured out, highly encourage you figure that out early as well. I think I need to do that. I've been bad. So make sure that you figure that out ahead of time. There's an option of being able to stay at the convention center, or there's plenty of other hotels in Green Bay that are pretty close. My first time in Green Bay, I actually walked from a hotel that was a couple blocks away, which is really great. And yes, as Amanda says, register soon before the early bird disappears. Get the worm, because whenever the prices start to increase, then it's going to be more expensive for you and for your church, since a lot of the expenses for going to annual conference should be covered by your church. And if you don't have budgeted in each year expenses for going to annual conference for the lay member, think about doing that this upcoming budget season. Very important. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, just so I can see all of your delightful faces. I just want to thank you all for being here today. Is there any other closing thoughts before we finish our session today?
I have one other nuts and bolts kind of question.
Yeah.
So my wife will be coming with me to Green Bay. Is it possible for her to come sit with me at the table? And if so, what do we need to do for that? If it's not possible, can she at least come in the room? And what do we need to do for that, etc.?
Yeah, so Amanda, do you know if there is late equalization spots still open?
I don't know about that. I would contact Kevin Rice Myers. He is the gentleman, he's clergy, and his role for us at the conference, I'm sure somewhere on the conference website is his email address, but Kevin can let you know if there's something called lay equalization, because clergy elders who are retired, they still get a vote. That's a lot. We have more retired elders than we have active elders right now. So if they decide to show up and do voting, it really offsets the 50-50 that we as United Methodists pride ourselves with. So anyway, that is one possibility for your wife to be able to also be a lay member to annual conference. The other piece is that I do think that she would have to sit outside of what we call the bar of the conference. And so there's a section of chairs towards the back, just by the doors, where folks who are observing the processes of the actual conference can sit and they can come and go. I would ask that you register her. I don't know, it might be 25 or 50 bucks just for her to be registered. And then that way she'll have a name tag. And so she can kind of come and go a little bit more freely, not necessarily on the floor or inside the bar, but just so folks know that she's part of our conference and is welcomed as such.
Okay, thank you, Amanda.
Yeah.
The way that annual conference is set up is we're in a very big room, and there are circular tables where people who can vote sit at. So that's the thing where she wouldn't be able to sit next to you unless she was able to get lay equalization. But she would still definitely be able to sit in the room. And the seats at the back, there's a bunch of them back there just for situations like this. So she wouldn't be the only one.
And Susan Bresser is the new chairperson for our Planning and Arrangements Committee. Sue is clergy and pastor at Waukesha First. Anyway, the point is that she could help your wife if your wife wanted to do some volunteering, helping folks get registered, answering questions. Sometimes they need materials moved in and out. It's going to be the bishop's last year, so I'm sure there'll be presents or packages and items being moved. So she felt like just being able to help out. I'm sure Planning and Arrangements would appreciate any assistance.
Our our pastor's wife also helped with the ingathering, because a lot of us that are voting can't really be help with the ingathering. So she was helping with that.
There's also the tech team that always needs help. So if you would be able to help run the slides, run sound, run video, that's something that they train you at annual conference to be able to do. And it really helps the conference staff be able to move about more freely as they're dealing with the business of conference. So lots of ways to help in addition to that just, being able to watch the sessions. I can't remember, are they live streaming conference this year, Amanda? Okay. I thought that they were, but I wanted to make sure. They should also be a live stream so that even if you can't be in Green Bay, you would still be able to watch. I don't think there is the capability of voting remotely. I think you actually have to be there. But if all you want to do is watch the business go down, you can do that. So with that, I am going to transition back to the slides just for a bit. So we can close out our session. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. I've really appreciated getting to spend time with all of you. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is my name, which is robinkelby@gmail.com. And I also put my cell phone number on there. And I'm so delighted to be able to represent you all on the Conference Board of Laity and make sure that, we're able to be the best that we can be in our lovely Southwest District. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to send out this Google Forms link. So if you click on that link, you will come to a page where you can fill out any additional information you'd like to get. I have packets for lay member. I have packets for lay leader. If you want to be part of a pre-conference session, do the thing. If there's any other things that you would like to give feedback on for how we ran this today, I would really appreciate it, because we want to make sure that we are giving you the information you need and helping you to do the best you can in your ministry. So I really appreciate all the work that you're doing in your local churches and everything. And yes, please come to our laity leadership convo that is going to be on April 20th. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there, but is going to be for lay and clergy to be able to learn and grow together, and is something that I think is going to be really valuable. Amanda's been really working hard on it, and they've got some really great speakers lined up. So stay tuned for all of those sorts of fun things as well. And I'm going to go ahead and ask if there's anybody that would like to lead us in a closing prayer. I can do it, but as Amanda said, we got a lot of good prayers here. Don't everybody speak at once. Well, I'm going to just pray us out then. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this beautiful, cold, confusing day where the weather just seems like it needs to make up its mind. We give you thanks for all of the people that have joined us on the Zoom today. We give you thanks for all the people that would be watching this recording. And we hope that your joy and peace will guide us through all of the leadership roles that we hold in our churches. We pray for our lay leaders that they may be effective in connecting their local church to be an effective mission outpost for your mission, for your glory, and for making disciples. We give thanks for all of our lay members to annual conference, that they may listen hard for your guidance and discern what is the best path forward for our conference through the next couple of months. And we give thanks for all of our certified lay servants, our certified lay speakers, and certified lay ministers, that they may continue to do your work, keep growing and guiding in communication, leadership, and caring ministries for the glory of your church and our world. Guide us as we go from this Zoom so that we can continue to be the leaders you call us to be. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.
Thank you, Rob.